This is Damon Fordham, Adjunct Professor of History at the Citadel in Charleston, South Carolina. And I'm here to tell you about an African queen in the West African nation of Gambia. Now, the movie The Woman King and the upcoming Wakanda Forever movie has revived interest in the subject of African royalty, particularly the queens, because a lot of those stories are simply not that well known outside of Africa. Now, as many of you who have followed my page and followed these videos know, I spent much of May of 2022 in the West African nations of Gambia and Senegal. And one of the things that I found when I was in Gambia, I went to the National Center for Arts and Culture in their capital of Banjul. And I purchased this pamphlet called Niamey, Fort Bullen, and the Abolition of the Slave Trade. And it's a fascinating look at the history of Gambia back when it was a kingdom called Niamey during the 1500s through about the early 1900s. And one such story involved the real story of an African queen of Gambia, which you're about to hear today. Between 1577 and 1581 AD, the Niamey kingdom was ruled by a Mama Mansa Kebereng Jammeh. She was one of the queens of the Jammeh dynasty that ruled this nation from the 1400s through the 1500s. And she was known for her spectacular beauty. So on one occasion, there was a nearby kingdom called Jokadu, which is now part of Gambia also. And it was ruled by a King Sanake Denbe. Well, this King Sanake Denbe went to pay a courtesy call to Queen Mama Mansa Kebereng Jammeh. And the queen was taking a bath when he came, so her servants came out there. And the king said, "I've come here to see Queen Jammeh." And so the servants told her, "Well, she's taking a bath right now. You got to hold on for a few minutes." So the queen got out of the bathtub. She took a bath where she was taking a bath and she dried off. And she went out there to visit this king. And the king, Sanake Denbe, was just blown away by her beauty. And so the queen said, I have not had a man in quite some time, and you will do for a fine king. But on one condition." King Sanake Denbe said, "What's that?" Queen Mama Mansa Kebereng Jammeh said, "You can be my king if you agree to abdicate from the throne of Jokadu and bring Jokadu as part of my Niamey kingdom." And the king was so moved by her beauty that he agreed. And that is how the kingdom of Niamey expanded Jokadu in its midst, through this beauty of this king, Mama Mansa Kebereng Jammeh. Now, here's the thing to consider about a story like that. Now, I went over to West Africa and I found this pamphlet with this story that the people over there have chronicled. And it made me wonder something that I hope would be of interest to all of you. That's just one of many stories that I found while I was over there. Just stop and think for a moment. How many stories of kings and queens in Africa that are unknown out there to the average person in the West, that are just waiting to be discovered and just waiting for us to be inspired by them? Think about that for a moment. This is Damon Fordham.